Kathy,
Yes.
has anyone said they will not be attending today?
I thought I emailed you. Val isn't going to be here.
Okay,
I don't know where Ray
you might
is.
have, I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's 1 o'clock. Where's Ray? Hang on.
Also, we are live on YouTube already.
I'm here. If anybody cares.
Hi, Kara. I'm
Hi.
texting. I'm
Hi.
texting Ray right now. He didn't say he was
Hi, Abby.
here.
Oh, I didn't get a chance to get back to you, but no, it was miserable. We need, Steve Cohen to represent us.
There's Ray.
Oh, there
We
he
need
is.
we need a lawyer, not a yes man for the opposition.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have a leg to stand on when they bring it to, like,
Hey guys,
We're
I know.
live.
No, I'm not saying anything.
I just saying we got in trouble with that application because things we said and maybe we shouldn't, and I hate to bring it up, but we need to tighten up our ship a little bit. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I don't think we can be talking about this stuff.
Well,
Yeah,
I hope
no,
you
I-
guys aren't deliberating on a project.
We're not
that's
talking about,
No, we're just saying we need a lawyer. That's all.
we need a lawyer. That's right. That's
Okay,
we
I
have
want to
a right
start,
to say something.
guys, I want to start the meeting. Now, my internet wasn't working in the other place, so I got resituated, so now I have to see who's here. Abby,
Yes.
Stephen. Kathy. Holly. Carrie.
I'm here.
I'm just getting an inventory of everybody all of the members, and I think I got everybody. Okay. Diane, Abby. All right, right now I have Diane, Abby, Stephen, Carrie. I think that's it. Okay, are we live?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, everybody, good afternoon. For the record, this is Ray Pohl, Chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. I'm going to confirm that the following members are present. When I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you. Abby Camp.
Here.
Thank you. Stephen Welch.
Here,
Carrie Thornwell.
Here.
Great. Staff, when I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Kathy Flynn.
Present.
Thank you. Holly Backus.
Present.
Thanks. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. That order, posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberation is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording, and we are being broadcast via YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. With no member of the public having asked to speak, this particular meeting will not feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting or unless otherwise noted available on the town's website. During the meeting, I will introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called, and please direct all comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk. Finally, minutes or votes taken at today's meeting will be done via roll call. Thank you. Okay. Kathy, any changes to this agenda? Kathy?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to approve today's agenda, please?
Oh,
So-
so moved.
Thank you, Diane. On the motion, Abby,
Aye.
Stephen,
aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay. Let's see. We have a very small consent agenda. It looks like I have one on there, so I'll have to recuse. Diane, if you could take that one for me.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I get one on the consent 1 through 4?
Motion to approve consent agenda 1 through 4.
Thank you very much. Abby,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Stephen,
Aye.
and me, I do I also.
Okay, great. Thank you, Diane. Now we have 2 consent with conditions. Can I have a motion on that?
Motion to
Okay,
approve
but-
consent with conditions.
Thank you, Stephen. On Stephen's motion, Carrie,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Diane,
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
I'm in favor. Okay. Next thing, we have 5 60-day denials due to lack of response. I suppose we can vote those through in a block.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Yes, so the first 3 were incomplete. And
I don't know what that means.
well, in other words, they haven't responded.
Okay.
And then the 4 and 5 came in 2 days ago and signed extensions. So
Oh, so we're only denying the first 3.
exactly, thank you.
Okay. So everybody got that?
Motion to approve the first 3, 1, 2, and 3 on 60-day denials.
Thank you very much, Diane. The motion is for the first 3 on the agenda. The other 2 have been taken care of. On Diane's motion, Abby,
Aye.
Stephen. Stephen. How about you, Carrie?
Aye.
Thank you. Back to Diane.
Aye.
Stephen, are you there? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Aye.
now I can. Okay, so are you in favor?
Yes, aye. Here. Yes.
Thank you, and I am too, so that motion carries. Okay. Now we are along to new business. Okay, so the new dwelling is back up. We do not have Val today. So Brooke. Oh,
Yes.
actually, we have an associate member in the form of Carrie. So we can substitute Carrie for Val. Carrie, are you ready to do that?
Yeah, I was here the other night, so I heard everything.
Yeah, you're on it. You're on as listed as an alternate, so that's good. So we
Okay.
can continue with the 5-person board on this, which I think is important. Okay, so first thing on the agenda here is the dwelling that we reviewed Tuesday night. And Brooke, I know that you provide some supplemental information, which we received via email. Why don't you walk us through it?
All right. Need to share?
Okay.
Okay, so I've never done this before, Brooke, so
No.
I guess, oh, perfect.
All right. So you've seen the house already. The information that I brought in is a topo study showing transverse cross sections east-west and north-south. And what you're looking at here is the view from the way, and the blue line represents the existing grade through the property, and then we've got a red line that indicates the what's getting filled in that area. To the right is a drawing, is a design that was recently approved for 69R Cliff Road. And then to the left of that is 71 Cliff, which is a small ranch style building that sits up on Cliff Road. And then, of course, there's a bunch of vegetation between those. And then on the second structure, this is going from east to west, and there again you've got the blue line with the low point being at the 34-foot topo line and rising up, and this is the Hamlin Road, one Hamlin Road in the background, which shows the more or less what the grade line would look like. Their driveway is at the 36 topo, and again, the red line indicates where our finished grade would be, which is at the 37-foot topo line. And beyond, you can see 69R and its relative size and scale. So that is something that Mr. Welsh had encouraged and requested, and it is provided here. And hopefully that will add something to the conversation about the dwelling. I also want to make one more note that when you look at this building in the site plan, it does look like it consumes a lot of area, but a lot of that is covered porch. So, if you're standing out here in the way, you will be looking through a lot of this area, and the actual building is a relatively small perimeter. Again, it's 1,400 square feet on the ground, which I think is a pretty modest structure. So that's the topo study. I can leave that up, and I can also go back to the designs as well at whoever's request.
Okay. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you.
So I'm sure HSAB didn't have anything to say between Tuesday and now. So whoever wants to speak on this application before we get it to the board members, unmute yourselves and announce your name for the record, please. That is, if anyone wants to speak on this.
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, sir. My name is Heather Lamb. My
Heather Lamb,
house,
okay.
thank you for calling me. Our house is 73 Cliff Road. You didn't mention it on Tuesday or today. It's pretty, the pool's, well, I know we're not on the pool yet, but
Not yet.
pool. Okay, so I just wanted to make myself present that I am an abutter and I wasn't on your original list. So thank you for hearing me.
So right now, we are reviewing the house itself. Then we have two other
Yeah.
applications that are following that, the pool being one of them, if that's where your concern is.
Thank you, yes.
Okay, so we can get back to you on that, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Great. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair, my name is Karen Padilla and I'm a butter from 69.5 Cliff Road.
Okay.
I'd like to understand the water runoff and how they plan to capture that and take care of that with this new, with the house.
Okay, I'm actually glad that you brought that up because a lot of the discussion on Tuesday had to do with runoff, which is something that this board is not in charge of. We are in charge of grading to the extent that it elevates the house, but in terms of the runoff, that's not our purview. So if Brooke wants to respond to that in any way, I would welcome him to do so, just in the interest of being neighborly.
Sure. So if you look at the topo line, there really is, there's only like about a foot difference between our highest point and about the midpoint of your lot. And I think right now the water goes to the to that wetland anyway. And in terms of drainage, that's definitely a question for like a soil engineer. And so I cannot answer that fully accurately. I can only speak to, the relative size of the buildings and the designs within the context of this area. So
Hey,
I'm sorry, I can't give you more specifics, but
Brooke,
yeah.
did you say on Tuesday night that you had already taken this through the Concom?
This has gone through the Concom, yes.
Yeah, and so obviously with the proposed grading that you're showing us here, right?
Correct.
And no comments on drainage or anything from the Concom?
There were none. I mean, it got approved. It's a pretty heavy duty board these days.
I know, I'm surprised. Okay, thanks, Brooke. Anyone else care to speak on this application?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Ethan Griffin on behalf of 69 Cliff.
Ethan.
First, I'd like to thank Brooke. I think this is very, very illustrative. Just to reiterate a point from the last round, we'd like to consider more of the scale of the lot and the size of the proposed structures in relation to other lots in the neighborhood. And also, I think it'd be beneficial for the applicant to look at a little bit more of a balance between cut and fill, because I do think there's a solution there doesn't involve filling the entire lot. And if possible, if it goes to views with ridge poles, if we could mark the ridge poles with the proposed elevation of the new grade as well as the ridge. Just a further statement on Concom. They really didn't consider any of the elevation changes because it was all basically outside the 50. So they really didn't put too much commentary on that, although that was brought up at the meeting.
Okay. Is that it? Ethan?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Anyone
Mr.
else?
Chair? Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, hi, Arthur.
Arthur Reed, representing the Braylowers at 1 Hamlin Road, and also representing Richard Griffin at 69.
Okay.
I would echo what Ethan said, and
I can listen.
And somebody needs to mute, please. Arthur has the floor right now.
in addition, I'm concerned about the grade change. Looking at this, it's not a huge amount, but the grade is certainly being raised, and I don't know any reason why why it couldn't be kept at the lower elevation where actually most of the lot is now. If you look at it from the from either side, rather than building it up, can't we either go to the lower elevation or average it in some way?
Is that it, Arthur?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, this is Salil Patir from 69.5 Cliff, north of this property. Just going back to your remark about HTC not being the place to raise concern about the surface and roof runoff.
Correct.
Where can we raise that concern if this is not the right forum to do it?
Well, it would have been the Concom, which is why I raised the issue of the Concom.
But like Ethan said, this thing wasn't really brought up at that point, and this is the first time we are seeing these drawings.
Concom. But apparently the issue of runoff was raised. I believe somebody said that. Ethan, did you say that?
Yeah, just to clarify, we did bring it up as one of the points as part of the Concom process, though they really didn't put much importance on it because it was outside the 50, and they felt that, it was largely between the 50 and the 100. It's, kind of, it's not something they put as much concern into, unfortunately. It's sort of I don't know if it's failure of the process or what, but again, looking at the boundaries, it wasn't something they really put a lot of concern into.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification, Ethan. I hope that answered your question, sir. Anyone else?
Hi, Meryl and Michael Braylauer. I'll share my video. Hold on, let me I just want to mention what we mentioned last time. We think that the scale of this project doesn't fit the neighborhood. And that's all I'll say for now.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, anybody else? Otherwise, we're going to get to the board members. Okay. All right, board members, I believe you know who you are. Myself, Diane, Abby, Stephen, and Carrie. It's basically everybody that's here, right? Okay, so Anybody care to begin?
I'll begin if you like.
All right, thanks, Diane.
I think that the lot is fully complete with houses and stuff. I would like to see the pool reduced. It shouldn't go from one building to the lot line. It's too big. And even though the porch is around, we've got the air conditioners, I would guess what those red circulars are.
That's what those are.
On that, close, they are very they look like, I don't know what 12 feet from the lot line. I would like to see the pool reduced. I would like to see the studio reduced. And I feel that the main building should go back, perhaps not so much room given to decks and porches. I understand that it's good and they look through, but when you see the amount of land that is left, again, I've been trying to follow the square footage of this, and it comes down to being almost the full allowed square footage. I would like to see it reduced somewhat, so it's going to be seen from several streets in it, that it's in a funny corner down a driveway that is a public passing, and we have to consider the house itself is fine, lovely, but it is how and where it is set on the lot that I'm concerned with. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. Abby, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll read off what I have. I agree with Diane, basically. Still feel the lot is overdeveloped with too large a house, too large a pool. You know, the cabana is just accentuates all of that with the 2-car parking. There's very little left for rain to get down to the soil. And I would suggest a story and a half, a smaller or even just a water feature, and a shed, a simple shed, you know, as a cabana. If you need to have all those things, that seems to be the trend. So I just think a smaller footprint would mitigate the neighbor's concern of the runoff as well. If it were sort of within the natural topography of the land, if it was smaller, it would probably fit in better and you wouldn't have to move so much land around. Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Stephen, you ready?
Yes, sir. So I'm going to limit my comments to the architectural elements, other than to, I presume that since the Jane and John Doe Road was not contested by the applicant's agent, that Attorney Reed's testimony that it is a public, for the purpose of the HDC, it is to be considered a viewable road, is how we're proceeding. I see Brooke nodding yes. Okay. So with respect to the architectural elements, sizing and massing, I think the design itself is perfectly, the fenestration, the general elements are perfectly approvable. However, I think the overall massing is problematic in terms of the setting. I note that this, as we've discussed, does go almost lot line to lot line. Whereas in the neighborhood, if I'm reading this correctly, 69 R Cliff, which is to the north, and then the homes surrounding really aren't lot line to lot line, although they do come up close to at least one lot line. And I think it would be appropriate for this building to be along one or more property lines, but not to straddle the entirety of the lot. So that's the overall size. With respect to overall size or perception of overall size, I do agree. I think there was a general comment made yesterday about the grading. I'm not going to speak to water runoff because it's just simply not our purview, and it's problematic when we talk about things that aren't in our purview. But I do believe that if 37, it looks to me that 37 is arbitrarily somewhat chosen, perhaps with respect to beneficial water runoff for the particular property. But it would seem that 36 would be just as appropriate, and allowing a little bit of retainage along the, if I'm reading these documents correctly, the southern end of the lot. Dropping this down a foot would help, I think, with, as a trade-off with respect to keeping the overall massing as it is, at least in my mind. That's a foot off, and I think that's beneficial. And I think those are my comments for now. I'm not going to speak on the pool, the cabana. I think they're incidental.
Okay, yeah, they're coming up next. Thanks, Stephen. Carrie.
I agree with the other commissioners to the extent of on the architecture. I think this is a perfectly appropriate building style. I think the massing could be reduced a little because of the lot size, because of its location centered where it is. But architecturally, I have no issues with this building.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. So Diane made the point about the porches. You know, Brooke, I understand, you know, yes, they are porches, and ordinarily, if the site weren't so small, I think that, you know, you might want to think about getting rid of some of those because they will be contributing to sort of the perceived volume of this building. Also, to Stephen's point, it's fairly clear to me that if you went to, he said, you're looking for 37, he said 36, I'm thinking 36 and a half, because A, it will get the building height down, and B, it looks like you're not really going to suffer in terms of being down in that hole that the site currently has. So, you know, a reduction of 6 inches in the height, then you could probably do a mud block along the south elevation, to Stephen's point about the retainage. And generally agree with the other comments that were made. So that's it for me. Can somebody make a motion on this one?
Make a motion to hold for revisions.
That's a
slight
good
revi-
motion, Diane. Thank you. On that motion, Abby.
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aye.
Gary.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. Okay. Next up, we have the studio. Same board, obviously.
I think pretty straightforward. It's 12 foot wide by 18 feet long. And here's some relative,
How tall, Brooke? 16 feet?
yeah,
He doesn't know.
hang on. 13 feet, 6 inches.
Okay, thank you. So that's it?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, once again, open to members of the public, neighbors. Unmute yourself and identify yourself for the record if you care to speak on this application. Keep in mind too, this is about the studio. The pool is next. Okay? Anyone?
Ethan Griffin.
Okay.
I think this is a completely fine cabana studio. I think what's going against it is the overall, again, density of the lot. You know, anywhere else in the island, beautiful, probably would go on consent. But just on this site, it's difficult in comparison to the rest of the development. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ethan. Anyone else?
Yes.
On the studio?
That's
Yes.
exactly, go ahead, Merrill.
No, I was just going to say, I agree with the commissioner who suggested a shed. I think that's much more in keeping with this particular lot. Go ahead, Arthur.
Yes, I have the same comment as both Merrill and Ethan, basically, in one way or another, which is that, again, there's nothing wrong with the structure per se in a vacuum, but when you apply it to this lot and the extent of the, I think, very aggressive program that's being proposed for this very small lot, I think it's a bit much. And they're basically trying to cover the entire lot, or at least as much of it as they can. I think that it could be definitely cut back to the shed that I assume it's really intended to be for purposes of maintaining the pool and equipment.
Okay, thanks, Arthur. Anyone else? Okay, I'm going to turn this one over to the board. Interestingly, whoever made the comment about it being a shed, I sort of just immediately jumped right to zoning shed, you know, as we know it, which means that it's exempt from ground coverage. and can be no more than 200 square feet, which I think this is slightly above. But so who would like to start the discussion on the cabana?
I'll go, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Stephen.
Sure. So my only comment is I think it's perfectly approvable. I think it would, our purview with respect to setting, it's such a small building, and with the hipped roofs, it's not so much imposing, and therefore would be appropriate. I do think it would be beneficial to, I think these are probably 7-foot doors, taking 4 inches off the top. Doesn't necessarily, to in effect lower the height, or lowering your top plate a little bit would be beneficial. I do think the south elevation, although they won't be visible, kind of demonstrates, it just looks a little, the door heights, it just looks out of proportion. And I think on the east elevation, which may be viewable at some point in the future, but perhaps not if there's fencing, the door height is masked by that outdoor shower element. Those are my comments. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Diane, are you ready? You
Yep.
had already made some comments about the shed, but why don't you reiterate those?
I would like to see it in a shed size. I think the zoning shed is certainly being concerned. The south elevation, north elevation can be less wide. It's supposed to be a john, a sink, and I don't know what else except sliding those folding doors. The building needs to be made smaller. Those are the sides that can be done. The window there is fine. It goes underneath, and the bushes cover the lower part that has no windows in it. But I would like to see it made smaller or go to a zone shed.
Okay, Diane, thank you. Carrie?
Sorry, I was muted.
That's okay.
I think I agree with Stephen's comments about the doors. It makes it seem a little bit disproportionate with the size of the building. It is a small building, but the zoning shed can be 10 by 20, and nobody would want that, because I think this is 12 by 18. Is that right, Brooke?
Yeah, I mean, it could be 12 by 16, and that would meet the letter of the law for a zoning shed.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it would be easy to drop the plate height and drop the door height,
I
and
don't think that would make much of a
kind of
difference.
some nuanced deductions, but I think it would help.
Okay. Carrie?
That's all I've got.
Okay, great. Abby?
Well, I think it's hard to talk about this without talking about the whole site. And I know we're not supposed to, but I mean, to me, this is a perfect cabana. I mean, it's proportionally, it's great. Why not scale down the house to this proportion? Them relate. I mean, I had to say, I just love simple things, and this works. And why not do a story and a half? Pull it all in, reduce your square footage, and there's nothing wrong with this cabana. It's
Okay.
Just
So
the,
you're
the
just,
overall
yeah. You made that
overdevelopment.
point pretty clear. So it's the overall build out of the site that's troubling you.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm. Okay, thanks, Abby. Let's see, I got everyone, right? Yeah. I have nothing to add. I mean, look, obviously a reduction in this and whatever you can do at the house is going to help everything. I would just tack on that I think that your proposed 17 elevation thing and my proposed reduction in the height of that elevation would apply to this and to the pool, just for the record. Okay, so can we have a motion on this one?
Motion to hold for what? Revisions?
Revisions, yeah.
Okay. There
Okay,
it
let's see. Thank you, Abby. On that motion, Diane. Let's try Stephen.
Aye.
Okay, Carrie?
Aye.
And there's Diane, got your aye. Thank you, Diane. Carrie said aye. Abby on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor, motion carries. Now let's look at the pool.
Ah,
Okay. I'm not sure that you need to go into any great length of the description of the pool, Brooke.
No, it's a pool.
There you go. At grade, right?
At 37.
It was grade 17, I would guess, right?
37 is the grade.
37, I'm sorry, 17, 37, 20.
I think we negotiated down to 36.
36 and a half. That was the
Oh,
negotiation.
wait, did we say 35? Is that
No,
35?
36 and a half, Steve.
All right. Okay, so Brooke has given the briefest description ever of his pool application. So now I'm going to open it up to neighbors, and I know one neighbor in particular wanted to speak. Was that Heather Lamb that wanted to speak on the pool specifically?
Yeah, yes, thank you so
Okay.
much. The pool lines up right along our whole property line, and our house is the smallest of all the area. It's worrisome that it's 5 feet from our property line where we get together every night, cook out, deck, all that. I know I can't bring up drainage because you don't consider that, but the closeness to the property line and our house, it would be about 10 feet from our house. So that concerns me.
You're at 71, correct?
I'm at 73.
Oh, 73, I'm sorry. I was confusing you with 71. Sorry about that. Okay.
So we have a very small, where your arrow is, very small little grassy plot there, and that's where the side of the pool is, and I gather it's 5 feet from the property line.
It is at the moment. Okay.
So that's what we would look at too every night, every day, and hear noise always travels from a pool. And also our house is the lowest house of the point all around. We have major, I know I shouldn't say drainage problems, but we flood all the time. So that obviously all worries me. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Lamb. Anyone else?
Yes.
Arthur.
Again, representing the Braylowers who are at 1 Hamlin Road. As you can see from the site map that was up a minute ago, there's a clear shot view from Hamlin Road between the Braylowers house at 1 Hamlin and the Lamb house at 73, shooting right up at the pool. It's going to be highly visible from that point. And I think that obviously my clients, as Mrs. Lamb, are also very much concerned about the effect that it'll have on them. But I think it'll also have visibility and an effect from the way, Hamlin Road. And it's a large pool. It's up very close to the lot line. And again, as every other aspect of this project, it's just a little bit over the top for this little lot. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Arthur. Anyone else?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Ethan Griffin. I think what's also, I think, particularly illustrative about the locus map that was just up is examples of, certainly there's other pools in the neighborhood, but again, looking at the proportion of those pools to the size of the lot, to the size of the structure, the main structure and the accessory structures, I think that should establish at least a sort of a design baseline for appropriateness that the applicant might want to look at a little bit further.
Thank you, Ethan. Anyone else?
Well, Mr. Chairman, the only thing I would add is that during construction, we would be very appreciative of having some kind of construction fence, as I'm sure the other neighbors would, because it is so close to our property and to everyone else's that all the debris and all the difficulty from, setting something up on that smaller lot is going to impact us dramatically. So that would be one thing we would ask you to.
Well, so that's not our purview, but I can tell you, I'm in the business. I'm an architect, and if you're digging a pool or a foundation of any kind, the first thing the any builder is going to do is put up a fence so that it, so the liability of somebody falling into that excavation, they need to do certain things per OSHA to keep the site protected from things like that happening. So I guarantee you that there's going to be a fence going up there probably throughout the entire process of the construction. Anything else?
Michael Braylauer, I would just like to, again, been reiterated before, that the size of this pool relative to the lot seems inordinately large. And I think that, the whole lot and all the various buildings on it have to be taken into consideration in terms of scale. And I think if anything is totally out of scale, it's the size of the pool compared to the other two structures. I have one other question. On the plans, they mention a hedge of evergreen trees behind the pool and the studio, and then some sort of black fence.
Yeah.
As well. Is that in your purview as to what's going back there?
Yes, it is.
It is. So I'd like to know a little bit more what they're planning on in terms of, one, protection from the pool itself for abutters and any grandchildren or children, et cetera, and a little bit more discussion of what they're planning on using in terms of the type of trees, as well as what kind of fence. I just mentioned a black wire fence. Right. Whether that's going to go outside the trees, whether it's going to go inside the trees towards the pool side.
So some of that I can answer for you right off the bat. The wire fence, which is a requirement for code, unless you have a pool cover, which I won't get into, but the wire fencing is 4 feet high. It's hidden in a privet hedge, which presumably this would be, goes on the inside. So it's not next to your property, it'd be inside of their property, and you'd have a hedge between the fence and you. But the rest of it, perhaps Brooke could address.
Well, I mean, it's pretty standard operating procedure. I mean, either we have 4 foot tall board fence, or we have this black wire and evergreen. And I think over the past few years, the black wire and evergreen approach has borne out as the more successful option, because it is less of a wall than your standard board fence. But with respect to grandchildren and anybody who might want to try and go towards the pool, the fences are there required by code for that reason. So I don't know what else how else to address that, but.
Well, I think you have.
Okay.
And is there enough room of 5 feet to do the plantings between the pool and the lot line?
So the 5 foot setback, yeah, I mean, you as long as the root ball is on our property line, we can put the fence where it needs to go. The evergreens would be, maybe closer to the lot line, and the fence would be on the inside of that, so you wouldn't be looking directly at it.
And is there any plan of any kind of structure along the edge of the pool? And any kind of, slate or
you mean decking?
You think decking?
Actually, no. My clients expressly wanted to have grass instead of bluestone. So that's what we're showing. That's what the green area is. It's all lawn.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I may add, this is Salil Padir from 69 Cliff. I echo the other abutters' concern about the size of the pool as well. My question is, since it's a decent sized pool, how do they plan on draining this pool at the end of the season? Where did all that water
Again, that's not our purview, and a lot of people don't drain them at the end of the season. They just cover them over. So I'm not sure Brooke even has an answer for you.
No, definitely did not have an answer for that.
Okay. Thank you. Are we ready for the board now? Let's see. Who wants to start on this one?
I can.
Who is that?
I do.
Oh, go ahead, Diane.
Okay. The
Oh,
pool,
Brooke, I get it. Yeah.
the pool is too big. It should be reduced to a lap pool, which would be 8 feet wide and 20 feet long, and move it back. There are some places where a pool just doesn't fit in. It is our mission as the HDC to make areas fit in with one another along a line. And this pool is not. It's bigger than the studio, and it's almost half as big as the house. If as a lap pool, they would be able to use it for swimming, and at 20 feet long, 8 feet wide, it would fit in away from both sidelines. The fencing doesn't need to wrap all the way around. You have a studio there, the fence can end, and then it goes along the other side to the corner of the house. It doesn't need to involve the whole studio area. And I think that would make the sides more relaxed to fit in with the neighbors on all sides. That's what I would suggest.
Thank you, Diane. Abby, you ready?
Yeah, I got a couple of notes here. I just wrote down, I think the pool is actually aggravating the whole site, because one of the other things I'm concerned about are lines of evergreens boxing in this site. So you're going to see a soldier line of evergreens with the wire inside. I don't think that's naturalistic to this site. It seems very formal once you're screening in that manner, and it's so tight, that's all you can do. So the pool is really sort of aggravating this whole situation. Yeah, I would suggest just I was going to say a 10 by 10 or just a spa, because of that problem of screening it from Hamlin and from the neighbors and everything else. So I think, and I just also noticed, I know we're talking about the pool only, but if they want grass around the pool, why would you need a deck around a studio? You could get more, less hardscaping, and you nix that deck between the swimming pool and the studio. Thank you.
Actually, the deck is part of the pool application more so than the studio.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Then I said it at the right time.
All right.
Thanks.
Is that it?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Abby. Stephen?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think the pool can be smaller. It does exacerbate the concerns with respect to the setting. And if it were slightly smaller, it could perhaps even be rotated 90 degrees and help preserve a sense of open space by consolidating the lawn. Thanks, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Stephen. Carrie?
I'm in complete agreement with Stephen. I was thinking that myself. If you can rotate it, reduce it quite a bit and rotate it, you could preserve a whole corner of the property to then buffer from your neighbors. And I think with a fence and evergreens, I think it will be screened nonetheless from Hamlin. But that's it.
Okay. Nothing to add. Can I have a motion?
Motion
to hold for revisions.
Oh, boy.
Well, weren't we charming?
We're going to give that to Abby.
Go
That was
for it.
Abby's motion. So on Abby's motion, Diane?
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aye.
Thank you, Carrie.
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for your comments. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, we have Mike Duffy. Is he with us? That was Michael missed Tuesday night.
Yep.
Michael,
Mr.
are
Chair,
you
I'm-
with us?
Yep.
So you have 2 strikes against you so far.
No, I'm here, Mr. Chair.
No, but you weren't here Tuesday.
Oh, goodness. Yes, Tuesday. Yeah, I do sincerely
Shame on you.
apologize.
Okay, so let's see what you have. Okay, 50 Easton Street, Awning Edition. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so this application is for an awning at the entrance to the Brand Point Grill, excuse me. If
Okay.
you see on this, yeah, there you go. We do have an existing photo from the street and a photo from the 2000s, which shows a similar type awning, half dome style. In this instance, it was all white. The proposed condition is a two-tone blue and white striped awning.
Okay. Very festive. So do we have HSAB on this one?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do have HSAB comments.
Okay.
HSAB took a look at this on March 1st. Their comments were that it was not architecturally appropriate with this proposed style, not round. There was a suggestion possibly maybe with a shed roof type of style. Also would prefer a single color, not in this blue and white scheme. And if it was a single color, not blue. And those are the comments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks. We're all on this. We're all on these for the duration until we get a conflict. Okay, who wants to start?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I just, White Elephant to me has always had sort of a 60s style to it. It's sort of been just not a historic approach to architecture. It's always been, they have that big white elephant on the property. And, I remember what was it? The harbor room. It's always been a little bit, so because it has already that history of style, I'm okay with this because it kind of goes along with that sort of happy-go-lucky, fun, sort of old Nantucket 60s. So I'm okay with it.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Diane?
I don't mind it in the white. I'm not sure that the blue, I don't know, I guess I would like to see the real material that was being used for the blue. Otherwise, we could use it. It was in the 20s that they had the white. I'd like to see if they have a proposal of the blue. The blue that's there is not to my liking. That
The one that's showing up in the rendering.
Yeah.
It is a little electric.
Turquoise.
Yeah. Okay. Is that it, Diane?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Stephen?
Sure, Mr. Chair. So I think I agree with a lot of the comments Abby's made. I agree with HSAB, but I think it's mitigated by the comments Abby made. With respect to the color, it seems to me that in the existing elevation, I previewed this in the lower corner of the next page up, the color matches, and I'd ask this of the applicant's agent through you, Mr. Chair, the color matches the signage both on the structure and posted around the structure. Is that correct? Okay,
yes,
so for me, I'm okay with the color. I think to have it be a different color unless it was a contrasting color or a much darker blue would just be odd. It'll be a fun little element. And I think I will say for the record, if this was utilized in multiple locations around the structure, I would have a completely different perspective on this. But as a single kind of focal point element announcing the entrance, I think it's appropriate enough. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Oh, and Mr. Chair, if I just note, I don't know that you're aware, I just noticed John is here with us.
Oh, I thought I heard him just a second ago. Okay.
He's here.
John, you just joined us. Okay, good to know. Hi, John. But I'm going to stick with the board that we have on this one, and then you'll come on next. Carrie.
I'm not in favor of this at all. I agree with HSAB. I think it should be an architectural element that's built rather than applied here. I think it could even go for a gable roof porch of some sort, but that's a big wall on this building and it can handle something to give it a little relief. I'm not sure why the applied, whatever this is a good idea. Sorry.
Okay. Thanks, Carrie. So, oh boy, not to make things even more complicated, but when I heard HSAB's idea about the shed roof as opposed to the quarter dome, that was appealing to me. I don't mind the stripes. I get that part. That's part of the white elephant kind of look. I liked Abby's comments about it. So for what it's worth, I would be in favor of the proposal the way it is. I'd be in favor of the proposal if it changed from a quarter dome to a shed too. What would we like to do with this, folks?
Oh, so I misunderstood Carrie. Did she mean an awning that had a shed?
No, I'm talking about an actually built element onto the face of the building.
Okay.
Like you see on the left-hand side of the that photograph. See
Yeah,
the
if they want to create more attention to that area, it could be a gable of some sort. I just don't think an applied this is appropriate in this district.
All right. Do we want to make a motion on this one?
Yes.
Well, John, you're not on this one. You'll be on the next one.
What do you want it to say? Hold for revisions?
I think that's all we can do. And then we're gonna have to leave it up to Mike to sort through the spectrum of comments that he received.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
All right, so Abby has made a motion to hold for some revisions on that motion. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you, Stephen.
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Okay, so that motion carries. And now we're to 5 Essex Road car tent, another carryover from the other day. Do we have somebody here to represent that?
Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Yes, sir.
I believe I am on, from here on, I'm on most of these.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, John. So I'm just seeing if we have somebody to represent this car tent.
Mr. Chair, we do.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Okay, so
Hi.
Hold on 1 second. I want to establish the board on this. Now that John is with us, we're going to alternate the associates. Okay, so I would like Stephen to sit on this one. If that's all right with you, Stephen.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so sir, are you Ronnie?
Yes, I am Ronnie.
Okay, so Ronnie, why don't you tell us what you'd like to do, and then you can hear from the board.
I put a tent maybe a year and a half ago, and I put it because I have a mice problem that was eating some of the wires inside my car engine. And it's a car that I only use mainly on the weekends when I go away on the summer. I got my work truck, but I use it mainly every day, so didn't have a problem with that. But the other one that I had there, just sitting there, that's why I got this tent that is inflatable, so it seals the whole vehicle from anything coming underneath the vehicle or anything, and that's why I put it.
Okay.
So we have a little problem with our neighbor next door because an easement problem. So he started complaining about the easement, so we fixed the easement, but then he kind of complained about the tent, and that tent has been there for a year and a half already. And that's why this came to your attention now.
I see. Okay. Thank you for the explanation.
Sure.
Now we're gonna put it to the board. Who would like to begin on this one?
I'll start.
Okay, go ahead, Abby.
I just feel that.
Hey, excuse me, somebody needs to mute out there. Yes, thank you. Go ahead, Abby.
Okay, so usually with stuff like this, we do, if it was temporary for 6 months, it would be maybe okay. But I think to make it as a permanent structure, I'm not sure what his intention is, but I think this is something we would not want to make permanent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, good, very good point. Well said. Diane.
This is completely inappropriate where it is or for use as a tent. If you have something that's under construction, as Abby said, for a short length of time, that's fine. But as we unfortunately find out, once you do one thing, the next guy is there without, this should never have been put up. I would like to see when it was approved to be put up. And I think it cannot be put up unless there's a necessity for a very short length of time, like 2 weeks. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Diane. John?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I believe that it's not in the old historic districts area. I have to say that first.
It is not, correct.
And secondly, that the whole United States Army sleeps under tents. Now, if people want a tent, it has to be conforming in configuration of the shape of it, which is most important. And I believe that, you know, kids have tents in backyards spring through fall. Now, I'm just going to leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Okay, Stephen.
Sure. Mr. Chair, I did a view of this and I think Abby's point is a good one and valid. I would suggest, given it is really benign after a view, that it would be, if it approval, it would be for a period of a year. And I think the color actually lends to it being okay. Green would be better, but it's existing. And I think other than the fact that it's, you know, if it were towards the front yard or actually addressing Essex Road, I would have a concern about it. And I am aware that we've approved these obviously in side yards much closer to the road, although they would either be gray or green. And I think it's important that we be consistent so applicants know what to expect. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I don't mind giving this sort of temporary status, but Ronnie, can you hear me? You're probably muted. Anyway.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, so on the occasions that we approve structures like this, we always put a deadline. There's a limitation on how long it can be up. And Stephen has proposed a year. Diane is, I believe it was Diane, proposed 2 weeks. So if this is going to fly at all, it would be with a stipulation that's going to have to come down after a period of time. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that, sir. I mainly use it. It's mainly the winter time when, you know, the rats or mice are looking for a warm place and they love the engines of the vehicles. And that's why they put it up pretty much. But it's something deflatable. It comes down. It's just like inflating a balloon. And really, if you see the other picture, you really don't see it from the street at all.
We see it a little bit. So
just a little bit. You can hardly see it. And I was if you drive by going towards the airport on Old South Road, there is another big tent on the side that you can clearly see it from the road. I don't know if you have that picture of that one right there.
We're looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see other tents before on other places, and I thought I've been in Nantucket since '94. I never had this kind of problems before, but I had this problem a couple years ago, and that's what I thought about this kind of tent that, you know, it covers the vehicle from top to bottom, and that's what I put it. But I didn't know that I was going to create a problem like this, and that's why I did it, sir. No, okay. I don't want to go against. Yes.
Now you know.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question? I'm not on this, but I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Why can't the thing be deflated and just wrap the car? Wouldn't that solve an issue?
Because then you wouldn't be able to drive the car.
Well, inflate it when you got to pull the car out.
Oh, you mean, oh, now I get it. you like deflate that structure, not like wrap it with that shrink wrap that the boats.
Right, just let it deflate with the car in there, and when you need to get it out, inflate it, so it's not really there, it's just a car cover.
I can't.
Gotcha.
I don't know. Good point. Okay, so what do we want to do with this? Phil?
Well, Mr. Chair, since the question's been asked, I wouldn't mind getting an answer from the applicant because it would affect the motion I make.
Okay.
Ronnie, can this just be deflated with the car in it, or does it not work for your program there?
It can work in that way. It's just going to be sitting on top of the vehicle, but the whole point is just inflatable. So when you drive in, drive out, you don't need to by hand to try to take it off the roof of the vehicle. That's all. But it's just, you know, you can do it and you can't. It's just a little bit more work for me to do it that way. But
all right,
you definitely can.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I just make a motion to approve as submitted for a period of 12 months, and the applicant can revisit it. In the alternative, it's also would be, the motion is to the option for the applicant to have it on the property deflated with the car in it.
Okay.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, I don't mean to, if he deflates this over the car, it's not even a structure. It's nothing the HTC has any purview over.
It's moot.
Yeah, so I'm going to stick to the 1 year as it sits inflated at 12 calendar months. And if he decides to make it a permanent car cover that he blows up to drive the car in, it's not our purview.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So there is a motion on the table to approve this, although with a 12-month window, which will expire. So on that motion, Diane.
I would go with it first for the length of time requested and then removed, right?
Yeah, it's only, our approval is only good for 12 months.
Fine.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're on. Okay, thank you. Abby?
I'm sorry. It's just a little too long for me. If it were in my neighborhood, I wouldn't want it. So I'm a no.
Okay. John?
I have to go along and approve it because it's not anti-typical to Nantucket. They had tents back when people first settling here. So it's just how much visibility you have. And there's very little visibility right here from this photo. Thank you.
Correct. So you're in favor of the motion of 12 months, I believe, John, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, very good. Stephen, on your motion?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. So that motion carries. So Ronnie, you're good for 12 months. Okay?
All right, sir. Should I try to come by and grab the paper for that permit for 12 months?
Talk to Kathy, our administrator, about that, okay?
Because I know the neighbor is gonna be asking for something if I got approved or not.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's
get it
all.
straight with Kathy at the office. Thank you.
Gotcha. Well, thank you
Okay.
so much, sir. Appreciate all your help. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, next up, we've got Brooke Mierbergen again.
Hello.
The continuing Brooke Mierbergen show. Okay, so the board on these three at 4 Ellens Way will include Carrie.
Hello. Great.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
All right. Just gonna show some photos. I know you guys have probably seen these a million times, but I'm gonna roll through them again. And some popcorn. All right, and
Okay.
so, site plan, again, it's pretty self-explanatory. And let's see. All right, so this is the elevation facing the street. And I also have a set of elevations that show it relative to the studio, which I'm going to flash to right now, just to kind of give you a sense of the scale. And I guess that's it. I mean, it all seems pretty straightforward to me, but so have at it.
All right, thank you. Who would like to start on this one?
I'll do it.
That was you, John, right?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All set?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. On the, could you go up 3 notches, please?
Site plan or
he wants it blown up.
Oh, sure. Yes. So there's the front.
That's fine.
Down to the other elevations.
Yeah. Okay. The lattice work right there on facing Ellen's Way. I don't find it objectionable. It's part of having a nice garden and flowers. So I want to go on to the roof walk. Years back, we had a strict policy here. No roof walk to cover in length more than 50%, 30% of the roof.
30%.
I don't know what this measures out here, but that's a little problem. It looks awful wide for the size of the roof. Thank you.
Okay, John, and you're correct. It's 1/3 of the roof plane, which this exceeds by some couple feet. All right, thanks, John. Let's see. Diane, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, go ahead.
I agree about the roof. I also agree, and I'm surprised he didn't catch them, that the windows in the shed dormer need to be pushed up so their middle line is equal to the eaves. This is true all the way around, and it's a silly thing to request, but the trellis that he has on the front, I would love to see that brought down to the size of the windows and not go shooting up into the second floor windows. It's to me, I don't know why, but it really is annoying, the height. So I'm telling
So
you.
something like this area?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Keep going, Diane.
That is about it. I've mentioned the roof walk. I've mentioned the windows in the dormer. And the only other thing I could say is on the south elevation, the front door should have just one more set of trim around it to say it's not the garbage door, but the front door.
Right. Good point. Okay, thanks, Diane. Abby.
And a doorknob. Can I see the site plan, please?
Yes.
So my question is, the front of the house is on the far right there. Is that, well, where's the front of the house?
Right here.
Between those 2 trees, yeah.
Okay, so I don't quite understand. I know I like to think of things as a whole, because if we go back and we start picking apart, anyway. So you've got the 2 cars pulled in. What is that apparatus that's between like the garage and the, what is that?
That's an arbor. A moon gate.
But is there any vegetation with it, or what is the,
well, there's a fence between, that acts as a block to the pool, visual block.
Okay.
I forgot, I have one more set of elevations to show. Forgot about this. And that shows all the adjacent sites.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
There it is.
I see it in this very small way. So I think the fencing is a little over the top. I think the okay, so that it's again, it's like a really packed in, what's it called, I'm fine with the architecture, and I know that's what we're supposed to talk, but agenda, it's a very packed in agenda, and it's starting to look cookie cutter, and I don't like that. I don't have a problem with the architecture itself. I think it might be, I'm sure it's the same height as all the other ones on Ellen's Way. I'm sure it's not suddenly a story and a half, is it?
Oh, Brooke. Okay. All right. What did you want to say?
So the height, I'll address that straight up. The height varies throughout Ellen's Way. If you from the photos that I showed, we've got everything from like 28 to 30 to again probably 28. This I know is 26.
Let's you say there's a variety. Let's let Abby continue.
Yep.
Okay, I see what you're saying there. I just think if you're going to have a tall structure like this one with this amount of agenda, it's got to be a smaller structure. That's I think I'm just talking in general terms. Architecture is fine. I just think it has to be reduced, sort of confined a bit more to take this whole package you're selling us. I can't say it any better. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie.
My instinct is that this is a 5-bay.
That's right.
Fifth bay is gone, and that
Correct.
is driving me crazy.
Yep.
Thinking you should try for a 4-bay, because a 5-bay is quite large in this neighborhood where things are a bit scaled down, at least massing wise. And maybe if you made it a 4-bay and reduced the huge roof walk, and the left-hand mass were going to take up the space that you're losing on the end of the 5-bay, you might have a better massing and a little bit smaller scale. Because the 5-bay without that 5th bay is weird to me. It's not working for me. Sorry. That's all.
Well, Carrie took the words right out of my mouth. It's set up, the front door is centered. And interestingly, in that panorama you showed us, there was a 4-bay right next door, which I believe was much more successful because it was an honest 4-bay, and this is, I'm saying what Carrie just said, this is a 5-bay where the first bay has been removed in favor of a shingled wall with trellis on it. So I'd like you to work on that one. That would be my biggest, probably only concern. Can we have a motion on this one?
Motion to hold for revisions.
All right. Thanks, Abby. On the motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Aye.
All right, Abby.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. So do we want to look at the garage studio? So we're almost out of time here. I think that we're only going to be able to get through Brooke before 2:30. Okay, go ahead, Brooke.
All right. So again, fairly self-explanatory. This is the site. There is a covered porch / cabana that is connected to this. But that is a separate application.
Brooke.
Or is it?
I beg to differ.
No, you're right. It's not. It's attached. So it's a covered porch.
It's physically attached. So when we look at these drawings, are we going to see that?
Yes.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yes.
Because that's the way it should be represented.
Yes.
Okay.
So, but I also, there is a site map that shows the visibility of the the connection and the back area, and you'll see that it's fairly minimal. But these are the elevations. This is what faces the street. This is what faces the house. And this is what faces the pool. And this is what faces the neighbor at 2 Ellens Way. So let me, you've seen these and you've seen this, but I want to zoom in on some sight lines from the corner of this building and from here and here. So it's minimally visible in this direction, if that's a concern. And then of course the back area is is lot 30, the open space. I think that's it for now.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like me to go to the elevations or keep it on the site plan, or?
Let's go to the elevations.
Okay.
Thanks. Who would like to start?
I
Okay.
can,
That was Abby?
I'll be really quick. It's too much for me. The height, the size, the massing. I mean, if this were on an acre lot and it had breathing room around it, it would be absolutely 100% perfect. But I'm starting to get a tiny bit claustrophobic from these overly developed sites. But thank you.
Okay, thanks. Diane?
Hi, I agree with Abby that east elevation is house worthy to be downtown. It's too heavy, too big, and they're coming out to be little squares. If they have so much room, they should break down something, but it is too much stuff there. It's 2110 high. It should be down to, that's a good height, or just under 2 inches under being a height, but it needs to be less prominent.
Okay,
That's it.
all right, thank you. John?
Yes, I find it's typical to the neighborhood, and I think that where you have a swimming pool on each side of this one and all the other, there's 16 lots in there. I'm not against having a pool where they are, and I'll make a motion to approve it.
I don't think that motion's going to carry, but we got to hold the motion anyway because we haven't heard from Carrie or myself. So I'm going to hold that motion, John. Carrie?
I think the dormers, again, Brooke, this is something that sort of, I think happens a lot with your buildings. Your plate height, your dormer, your wall plate height is not quite low enough for the dormers to pop up out of. They're very insignificant at the top. And it makes, on the south elevation, it makes the wall area seem much bigger than it needs to be. If you can just drop that main plate down, you can keep the dormer plate where it is, but I think that would help on the south elevation and on the east elevation. The wall to roof here is, it's not, the proportion seems funny. And I think it would be an easy tweak. The rear mass and that deck, the porch doesn't bother me at all. I don't think it'll be that visible, and but it's just that roof and dormer relationship. That's all.
Okay. And I agree with the roof and dormer thing. And I think that solving that issue would by default partially solve Diane and Abby's issue of scale, because it's going to serve to bring it down more. So I'd be interested in some revisions. John, I think that your motion to approve would probably die. Do you want to modify your motion?
Yes,
Okay, can you just motion for some revisions?
yes.
Thank you, John. So John has made a motion to hold for revisions on that motion. Diane?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Motion carries. Do we want to look at the pool?
Sick of looking at pools, I believe.
No, we have 5 minutes.
I'll do it, Mr. Chairman.
What's that?
I'd say I'd like to do this one.
You'd like to chair this one?
No, I have comments for this one.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to steal my chair away.
I'll make it quick because from what I see there,
Go ahead.
yeah, what you see there, you see 15 more in that subdivision. So I don't think there's anything too much here that has to be changed. We just.
Okay. That's a nice view. There are a lot of pools in the neighborhood, no question about it. Thank you, John. Diane?
I would like to see the pools either slightly smaller or the 8x8 spar put inside the pool.
No, it's not visible.
Correct.
Thanks, Johnny.
All right. So Diane, was that it? Pool
Yep.
smaller or incorporate the spa into the pool?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Abby?
Are we talking about just the pool or the hardscaping or?
Actually, I believe we should incorporate all the hardscaping, right, Brooke?
Correct.
That's what you're requesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So go ahead.
I'm trying to. I
Oh.
don't know what's wrong with me. It's just too much hardscaping for me. And I hate to keep repeating myself, but it's almost, again, there's almost no ground cover left. If I understand this drawing.
Well, this is all grass right here. That's all green space. So it's really just this area.
Yeah.
And it's not visible.
Right. My other concern is that a fence to screen from the road without vegetation, to me, is a bit harsh.
Well, we can throw some screening there.
All right.
All
Let's
right,
let Abby
that's my
finish.
comments. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Abby. Carrie?
I agree with Abby. I don't mind all the hardscaping because it's not visible, but I do agree that that fence should be softened and planted for sort of a double screening. That's all.
Okay. All right. I would like to see some of the things that have been discussed too. So do we want to hold this for revisions?
Yeah, motion to hold for revisions.
Thank you, Abby. On that motion, Diane?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Very good. Carrie?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Now I'm in favor. Motion carries. Hey, we do have time maybe to do the Steve Rothke's 9 Coffin Street edition, if it's not too big a deal.
Is it just a door change?
I don't know. It's just says addition. Do we have Steven on?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I am on board here.
Okay, is this going to be simple or not?
I mean, I do think that it's pretty simple. It's a single story extension on both sides of an existing structure.
All right, let's try and keep it brief. Same board. Oh, actually not same board. We got, now Steven is going to come on. Unless, Steven, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. So let's see some drawings. And I'm sure we have, this is Coffin Street in Sconset?
Sconset, yes, sir.
In Sconset. So we're going to have Sconset advisory on this.
I don't seem to have the option to share drawings here, Ray. Mine was not in the view pack, so I'd have to rely on Holly to drive the drawing piece.
Yeah, Holly, are you steering the boat?
It's actually
today, or-
Kathy today.
Yeah, I am, and I'm sorry about that, Steve. It must have gotten missed.
It's okay. I think I'm happy to have you drive, Kathy. So maybe just, should I start, Ray?
Yeah.
Okay, so just maybe we start with the site plan, Kathy. I'll just get everybody oriented. So this house sits significantly back from Coffin Street, as you can see there on the site plan. What we're proposing to do is extend forward towards Coffin Street by about 6 feet, an existing gable mast that stands forward today. We're going to extend that an additional 6 feet.
Okay.
On the west side of the building, which is the side where you see the driveway,
Yes.
and there's a little cottage in the back corner of the property. That
Yeah.
side, the addition sort of wraps around and creates a shallow side porch that comes out towards that parking area.
Okay.
And then on the opposite side, which is adjacent to Lindbergh,
Mhm.
there's an existing sunroom there, and we're extending that about 6 feet as well. So that's why I said what I said up front. We're really sort of extruding or extending some existing geometries that are there today. And I think if you go to the full-size sheets of drawings, if that's of interest, you'll get to see the side-by-side of the existing. and
That would be
proposed.
really great if we could go to the existing and the proposed. That would be really,
Yeah, so,
I believe, straightforward.
yeah, there we go.
Now, so Holly, are you finished, Stephen?
Yes, sir.
Let's hear from Sconset Advisory.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yes, so Sconset, overall, there were predominantly no concerns. However, there was a comment about the windows. There's 6/1 windows have a charm, not the 2/2s. There was also a comment about the eave details, that there should be the same details to be more harmonious between the existing structure and the addition. I want to notate for the commission that this is a 1938 structure called Island Home. It was hard for me to discern on the site plan, Steve, about where the proposed little additions were. So I appreciate the clarification. Also, I believe there's a loss of a chimney. We had mentioned during the Sconset review of this that you will have one at least remain, and that this is not a historic chimney, but I'll leave that up to the committee.
Okay.
That's correct. To
Thank you,
clarify, the chimney we're removing is the flue for an oil burner, which is going to be swapped out for propane. The chimney that we're keeping is part of the original, actually wood burning fireplace that's going to remain.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just to inform the commission, we have 10 minutes and we need to stop for the Board of Health.
Okay, good to know.
I'll go quick.
Yeah, okay, great.
Okay, I agree with the Sconset Advisory Board. I think the 6/1s are charming. I even missed the existing sort of picture window with the 6/6s.
4/4.
Or is that what it is? So,
Yeah,
so the
4/4.
panes. So yeah, I remember this house, and I think doing the 2/2s doesn't really keep it as a sweet cottage look. Those are my comments. Otherwise, I'm fine with all the additions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Stephen.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I mean, I note that the existing elevations have a mix of 6/1s, 2/2s, 4 light, and 4/4 double hung. So I think with respect to the east elevation, the addition there, the extension of that area as a 6/1 would be great. And otherwise, perhaps in the south elevation above, 6/1 in the dormer would be less visually imposing than a 2/2. But I do note that the existing is a 4 light in that location, or I can't zoom in on my drawing from the town website.
2/2.
Is it a 2/2 double hung?
It is.
Yeah. So perhaps keep in mind the proportions of that window versus what's been proposed. I think the proposed looks a little imposing. Other than that, I think it's perfectly fine. I do understand HEB's comments with respect to the keeping some of the details the same, but at the same time, we've been advised that an addition should not necessarily mimic an existing structure, so it can be identified as such, and the existing structure that has a historic nature can be identified separately. So I'm okay with that. It kind of tells a story of development over a period of time. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Diane.
I would go with the windows at 6/1s. The mixture that we have on the existing elevations are good, but we're adding different things So I think it would be more cohesive with the 6/6s. At least in the two elevations, the south and the east that I have up. I'm sorry to see the chimney go, but as long as you're maintaining the old one, that would be good. I don't mind the extension of that little wing on the proposed south elevation. I think that's been done very thoughtfully. So if I could see just the north and the west, it would be really good.
Okay. We gotta
Okay.
hurry it up. So, sorry,
Yeah,
Diane.
well, just my major thing is to try and get the windows to be cohesive all the way through. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. John?
Mr. Chairman, I mean, Rick, I agree with the comments of Mr. Welch on the windows. I agree with what he said on it. And as far as I'm concerned, it's ready for a motion for approval with those changes.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that that would fly, and I don't think we have time. But I have nothing to add, Stephen. So
if I could just to circle, I mean, I think we're very agreeable. I understand the context of the comments. I think we'd be fine with 6/1 on the sun porch. And I just wonder if in that context, if there isn't an opportunity here to move this along with revisions through staff. I'm fine with making that change.
Okay, but I'm not sure if that was the only change that was proposed.
Yeah, what about that window in the dormer that was smaller, that got bigger, that somebody said was overwhelming?
Yeah. I'm fine leaving that as the existing 2/2 proportion if that's a touchy subject.
Well, what's touchy right now is they're going to shut us down and we're going to have an incomplete
Make
application.
a motion to hold for revisions.
Yeah.
That'll cover us.
Yeah, give you a chance to think about that. I think it's important.
Everything rather than, sorry, but I don't want this to, if they cut us off, it's going to be a problem.
Diane made a motion for a revision.
Yes, thank you. So on the motion, Abby,
Aye.
John,
There's a motion on the floor.
the motion is on the floor. You had to hold for revisions.
This is ready for a motion.
What?
Wait.
John, listen, the motion to approve wouldn't go. So we're going to run out of time. Are you in favor of the motion for revisions?
All right, how about the window changes? That's my comment.
Stephen, are you in favor of the motion?
Yeah, John, the motion on the table is to hold for revisions. I'm in favor of the motion.
So am I. Okay, go ahead.
All right, great. And Diane, are you in favor of your motion?
Yes.
All right, and so am I. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, I think
Thank
we
you,
need to
everyone.
do a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. So Stephen has made a motion to adjourn. On that motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
John.
Hey.
Yes, Stephen.
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye, and
Bye.
we'll see you Monday or
Bye.
Tuesday next week.
Tuesday.
Bye-bye.